Thank you. I'd like to make our discussion a little bit more academic. And Mr. Pushkov mentioned about laws of history. I'd like to mention the laws of history. It's important to understand where we are. So we are at the stage of changing of economic orders. Those changes happened through world wars. And it started with the disruption of the Soviet Union, and now it's the disruption of Pax Americana. 30 years, quite a classic situation. 40 years ago, we talked about it at our Academy of Sciences. And that was in 2008. It became clear that the world is following a habitual scenario. So that economic order which is being disrupted, we called it imperial. There were two poles, not just the US, but also the Soviet Union. They were opposite from the political point of view, but regarding using the economy, using the money for unlimited crediting, and they were quite similar in governing the world because it was imperial, because the empires were doing it just so that everybody could follow this example. The Soviet Union created similar systems in another Soviet Union. Now, People's Republic of China has all the features of the Chinese Communist Party. The US created the world for transnational corporations. The New World Order that's coming, we called integral, using the term coined by Peter M. Sorokin, who said that Soviet imperialism, American capitalism, so it will be a new society that's going to be relieved of flaws and would use all the positive features. So it will be strategic planning and market competition, and it would use the money controlled by the government, so unlimitedly crediting the investments. Public-private partnership would be oriented at maximizing well-being of the people, and it combines all social interests of all social groups. The government is becoming the integrator, so the idea is to raise the well-being, so this new system could be called socialist because the values, common values, are more important than private values. At the same time, it's combined with traditional values. It's not imperial, and here it's national sovereignty, and so that's international law. And liberal globalization after Trump came to power was substituted by new protectionism. And instead of liberalization of economic regulations, the main locomotive of the growth of international trade was joint investments. A wonderful example is just one Chinese approach, which is just one way, one belt, and our forecast actually proved to be true. The U.S. is losing because this system of governance is 10 times worse than something that was created in Southeast Asia. It's agony. It's agony of the old center, which is alone after disruption of the Soviet Union, and they cannot suggest anything to the world, not from the point of view of the values, not from the point of view of governance. They just, after 2008, the amount of cash grew fivefold, and the money got to economic bubbles. In China, it was also fivefold, but it was going to different projects, and the capital flows are controlled by the government in order to improve competition. And just based on those economic laws supported by empirical experience, we can make a forecast that in the next 40, 50 years, there will be new economic system. The core is there. It's Southeast Asia, first of all, China and India. We can see that they are so the largest democracy in the world, the largest communist party in the world, but from the point of view of governance, they're quite similar. They use their special cultural features. They combine market and strategic planning in order to improve this well-being of the people. They're not going to have the war, but they're going to have competition, and in this case, it's becoming bipolar so far. It's clear what's going to happen with the West. I'm not going to, well, it's going to be greater chaos and falling down. This catastrophe is happening, and in accordance with our forecast, this year is the turning point, and Pax Americana doesn't exist as a driver, a locomotive of economic growth, and the example of world order. What kind of world order they can suggest? They cannot suggest any order. They can suggest the chaos. They try to make everything chaotic. But in Southeast Asia, they have the order, so one belt, one way. So it's 2/3 of the countries, and that order is getting stronger. And we had the customs union, now we have Eurasian Economic Union. We celebrated 10th anniversary, actually it's 15th anniversary, and it's great Eurasian partnership. This is the main principle which was coined by our president. These principles of being mutually beneficial, voluntary approach, competitive advantages, transparency. So this is the foundation. So, and it's not zero-sum game. And when we get our Eurasian economic order, combining it with one belt, one road, well, there are certain risks. The Americans can provide new chaos and conflicts. They really want Europe to have a nuclear war. They provoke us to use nuclear weapons. They want, in order to have hegemony, they want to have local nuclear war in Europe. Inertially, they believe that European wars are always good for the United States. And they believe that this war so far helps them because Europe, they made Europe really poor, and they are actually making money on this confrontation in Ukraine, and to get rid of catastrophe scenario, 5% probability here, 90% probability that there will be descent in Southeast Asia, and the rest of the world is going to either join this core or become just some faraway country. And we do understand what strategic planning is all about, how we could use money to finance investment, also currency control, no drain of the capital, public-private partnership, well-being of the people, and so on. We have all that in our report. I will give you this report. Maybe your magazine is going to be interested in it. And in order for this catastrophe scenario to make it impossible, we have to create a very broad anti-war coalition, because the war is for the brains, then for the money, and for the territory. And when it's the war to get the money, we lost a lot of assets, we lost a lot of provisions, but Americans are extremely strong because of hegemony of dollars. But it's not going, it's not like yuan is going to substitute it. No, it will be a different currency financial system. We are going to launch the new currency, which is going to be based on international treaty. And the currency cannot be used in the interests of one country or group of transnational corporations. It must be a digital instrument based on the contract, and every country must have the opportunity to issue this currency for international payments, and inside the countries they're going to have national currencies. We suggest this type of currency. I believe that Russia during BRICS presidency is going to give a good impetus to its development, and will get a new currency financial system with a transparent mechanism, and there will be no opportunity to have the banks. American banks work through, American sanctions work through banks. Secondly, the foundation for anti-war coalition is an agreement on information security. And Russia is working hard to prepare the World Convention on Digital Security. BRICS could take it. Well, America is cyber terrorist #1 in the world, but at least for us, we could have real information safety embargo against the countries that conduct cyber terrorism. And getting to a large Eurasian partnership, I believe that this initiative of our president is quite important. Thank you, Sergey.